In this video, the camera I'm using is the PTZ Optics 4K Move, and I want to test the auto tracking feature. So right now, you are seeing the footage from the camera. It's gonna be streaming over NDI and wirelessly captured to my computer here. And then if I go over to my web browser, now you're seeing the controls for this camera. So the auto tracking feature can be toggled within the web browser. You type in the IP of the camera, it brings up the page to control not only the image control settings of the camera, like exposure, but also the auto tracking control. You can toggle it from here. You could toggle it from one of the PTZ Optics joystick controllers, or even from the infrared remote. So I'm gonna go to the control tab here, and under auto tracking, I'm going to turn it on, and then I'll hit apply. So now it is working on detecting a subject here. So I moved a little bit, and it looks like it detected me just fine. I'll go back over to capture the full camera feed, and here we go. I am walking around the stage. Kind of a nice feet up shot. I feel like that's a little bit more headroom than I would prefer if I were framing this image. If I go back to the controls, and while auto tracking is on, if I try to zoom in or adjust the actual framing manually, it's not. It's pretty much locked in here with the auto tracking the way it is. If I go ahead and let's see, I'll turn it off for a second. So auto tracking is now off. And then now I'll go ahead and turn it back on and see what it does there. Apply, now it's back on. Let's see how it frames me up this time. See, I prefer this framing where now there's less headroom. It looks more natural to me. It's doing a pretty good job of tracking me. I think the movement is very smooth. Looks like the autofocus is having a little trouble keeping up. There we go. Now I'm in focus. Let me walk forward. And before it was doing some pretty impressive tracking here. So I'm walking like straight towards the camera, almost right underneath the camera here, and it's still tracking me. If I move out here, even outside of frame, I wonder if it's going to detect where I went. Has not moved yet. If I come back into frame, oh, it looks like it lost me, so it's going back home. So let me come back up here and see how it does. It already detected me. And now I'm back on stage. I'm gonna keep moving, pretending like I was a preacher, someone communicating. What is nice is that even though I'm like facing this way, so now I'll shuffle facing the other direction, it still tracks me. It does not need my face to be in the image. I know some auto tracking cameras out there need the face detection to actually know, if the subject is there or not. Let's see how fast I can go. I'm almost sprinting across the stage here, and that is very impressive. It would be interesting if I could frame it differently. If I wanted to have a tight shot, that would be more challenging for it to track, right? It does have enough room in the frame that it's easier for it to keep up because it doesn't have to pan quite as quickly as if it were a tighter shot. But I am very, very impressed with this tracking capability. Let me walk all the way over here. Wow. Still has me. Still got me. Gonna keep going. Still got me. Oh, I came out of frame, which a little understandable. It was tight, and then I just walked right out of frame quickly. And now I'm back on stage. Okay. Framing looks a little weird here now because I walked everywhere. So my guess is if I were to go, and let me disable tracking. It's disabled. Now let me turn it back on. Let's see how it decides to frame up the shot. That looks much better. So it kind of needs almost like a reset if you really move the camera around into some strange directions, strange lighting, strange framing. You might want to toggle it off and turn it back on. We'll get back to the video in a moment, but first a word from our sponsor, Church Posting. Did you know you can repurpose sermon videos into social media short form posts without needing to hire a creative team or editing them yourself? Church Posting automates your social media so you can transform those sermon videos into daily viral content, and your church can reach more people for the gospel without having to hire more staff or overextending your budget. Here's how it works. Churches simply put their live stream link into the system, and then Church Posting does all of the heavy lifting. They automatically identify the key impactful moments from your sermon, they transform them into engaging clips, and they automatically schedule them across all major social platforms. The results? Some churches have seen their monthly views skyrocket from 400 to over 50,000 views. Their advanced algorithm takes care of the bulk of the work, but they also have a dedicated team of editors to ensure each post is of the highest quality. And yes, for those of you who want a bit more control, there is an option to review every post through their scheduling tool. This gives you as a church leader the freedom to decide exactly what is published to your social channels. With Church Posting, messages are not just shared on Sundays. They're shared every day, teaching people wherever they are. And here's some exciting news for exclusively Churchfront subscribers. Church Posting is offering early access to the next 100 signups for only $97 per month. They're currently limiting capacity, and this price is a significant discount made possible by our partnership with Church Posting. So if your church is looking to enhance its online presence and community engagement, sign up for Church Posting today at churchposting.com/churchfront. Now let's get back to the video. I wanted to make a video giving you my impressions of the PTZ Optics Move 4K PTZ camera. We've been using these cameras here at Rock Harbor Church for a few months now, so we've been able to put them through their paces and really been able to get familiar with these cameras. Overall, I'm very happy with these cameras. I think they have a ton of value for the price point, which is around $2,000 per camera. In our setup, we use the SDI out feature to go to our ATEM video switcher, but these cameras also have built-in NDI with the HX feature, which is a more efficient way of compressing NDI video and getting it across your network, taking up less bandwidth. These cameras also network into our system, so I can control them from any computer with a web browser, or we can also control them with the PTZ Optics joystick controller. The cameras can also be controlled by the infrared remotes that come with them, and they also have some apps available as well that you could use on a mobile device. And PTZ Optics also has this really cool Hive platform that's coming out soon that really is going to revolutionize the way that you can remotely control your camera system. So let's talk about image quality. I was able to dial in the exposure settings on this camera to my liking. We do have a sufficient lighting system here at Rock Harbor Church. So these cameras do have those smaller sensors that PTZ cameras are known for. And of course, the cameras themselves have that nice compact form feature. They're very small and discreet. They don't take up any space in the room. They're just mounted on the wall in a really sleek way. But despite the small form factor of the camera and the sensor, these cameras are really capable of an amazing image, so long as you have sufficient lighting at your church. So here with this image, I'm well lit. I have good front lighting at 4,000 Kelvin. Then I've got some blue kick lights. We have some nice colored stained glass here at this church. And you can see behind me the nice bokeh effect. The autofocus is currently enabled on this camera, so it automatically focuses in on the subject. And you can see how it's blurring out the background because that lens is focused on me right now. And I'm really pleased with the look of this image. The autofocus can struggle though, especially with our stained glass background. So I wonder if I move around a little bit, if I can get it to go off of me. So now it's onto the background. Now I'll come back into the image, and maybe if I look at you, it'll see me. So it almost got me with focus and it kind of lost me, but then now it's back. So it took a little bit for it to really lock in on me with that autofocus. So controlling the camera is very simple. You're going to type in the IP address on the camera into a web browser, and then you're going to have this control interface here, and you can go through and you can adjust things like your image exposure, things like iris, shutter, and gain. These are really important. I recommend using the manual settings because when it's auto, it can usually look overexposed or underexposed, and it can start getting grainy. So I would always recommend taking the time to set up manual exposure for these cameras. So you can set different position presets for the camera over here. You can do this from the web browser or from a joystick controller. You also can control the speed of the pan, the tilt, the zoom, and the focus. So all of the basic settings you would want within a control software here for the PTZ camera. It's very, very straightforward. Here is the PTZ Optics Super Joy joystick controller. So I'm able to move this camera around so you can see it showing up in our multi-view. I can go pretty slow. I can go fast. I guess it's not set to go super fast, which generally we're not moving that fast when we pan anyway, but you can dial in all of these settings, right? Just like what I showed you. I can twist this joystick to zoom in, and I can zoom out. So very pleased with this experience on this joystick controller. So here we go. Let me zoom over to where I am here to the tech booth, and then I'll zoom in, and then just trying to do multiple things here, film and move my joystick controller at the same time. And that's pretty impressive. The camera caught me on autofocus even though I don't have quite as much light over here. The image is a little dark. But again, very easy to control. So on the controller here, I can select a camera and then I can recall different presets. So if I hit like preset 2, I'm not sure where this camera is on preset 2, it's gonna whip over there. Looks like that was our drummer preset. If I go to 3, kind of a center shot. If I go to 4, nothing on 4. If I go back to 1, that's kind of like a tighter center shot there. And then what's cool about the controller is I can select another camera here, camera 2, and now I am moving camera 2. Let me bring that up to my preview here. So this is another Move 4K. And then down here, I've got camera 3. This is the Move SE. This is the more budget version of these cameras. So this joystick controller, it's really cool because all it needs is one PoE network connection back here to power it and to get control. And this goes back to our main network switch, and we have the IP address here. I can actually pull up the IP address in a web browser to configure the settings and tell it which camera needs to be assigned to which of these buttons. So this is the Move SE camera. This is a $1,000 camera. It's only 1080p. It's a bit more budget friendly. I do feel like it pairs pretty well with the Move 4Ks. So now you are viewing the Move SE camera by PTZ Optics, and you can see how bad I am at operating this thing from the web browser. But here's a test of the image quality and how it looks. So interested in your opinion. Let me put my hat backwards so I don't have a shadow on my face. You can see the autofocus kind of working to find focus there. Let me go back to my other view here. Yeah, so this is the image quality. You're seeing this streamed over NDI HX right now, so you might not be getting the full video quality if it were compared to maybe getting a SDI video feed out of the camera itself. But right now, you're just getting a wireless transmission over NDI to my laptop. Now let's go ahead and turn on the auto tracking. So I'll turn it on, I'll press apply, and then let's see what happens here. So if I start moving, it's tracking. Not sure I'm a big fan of the framing there. Oh, there we go. It's kind of improving it. This camera is kind of a side angle, so it might be more of a challenge. I like that framing. That looks good. Good job, Move SE. Now let's move around. And again, if I look at a different direction here, it's still tracking me, still doing a pretty great job. So that's kind of cool because now we could even turn on tracking on our other camera. We've got the 4K, Move 4K here. So I'll turn tracking on for both cameras, and let me actually pull them up so now you can see. So now I've got tracking on both cameras. So you're seeing the split screen view here. So that could be handy if you're operating both cameras, you want them to both be tracking. Of Of course, the framing and such won't always look consistent. Looks like the Move SE, which is on the left, the 4K is on the right. This also kind of gives you a comparison of image quality, right? So you can tell the 4K looks sharper, it looks better in my opinion, the image on the right side. But the tracking for both isn't too bad. And you're not seeing the full width of the frame, right? You're just seeing kind of the center cropped image on this side-by-side here. I'm not sure, looks like my Move SE has some auto white balance going on here. So let's actually go back to my camera settings, go to image, and under color, yeah, that's a problem. Let's go to variable, maybe. Let's go to, should be about 4,000-ish. Let's apply that. That looks much better there. It's not too bad, color's pretty close. But again, the 4K I think definitely looks much cleaner, much better. That's the 4K is right here. The Move SE is right there. But it's pretty cool seeing these two cameras track so well. Let me walk around the room. Of course, again, it's catching you. You'd be seeing me in the frame if it wasn't cropping it here on my software the way I'm capturing it. But yep, both of them are tracking me around the room. Very, very impressive. Yeah, very impressed with these two cameras. 4K Move, 4K SE by PTZ Optics. I hope this video was helpful for you guys to compare these two different cameras, and if you're considering diving into the PTZ Optics ecosystem, here at Churchfront we are a dealer for PTZ Optics cameras, so we would love to hook you up with one of these systems. Just reach out down below, or if you're a client, maybe you're considering future designs for a project that we're working on with you, these cameras are a really great option. And I would also say these cameras are great for that medium range broadcast budget. You can definitely invest more into some of the other PTZ camera brands out there, whether it's going to be Canon or Sony. You probably will see a bump in quality when it comes to the image quality, especially if it's a larger sensor on those cameras. Autofocus could be better. I know some of those higher end joystick controllers also get very precise in the movements. So if you do want to invest in a more premium experience, we can get you set up with one of those systems as well. But overall, very pleased with the PTZ Optics cameras that we demoed in today's video. Thanks so much for watching. If you found it helpful, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.